So there are a lot of divisions on the left, not often aired in public, but they do disagree with each other. If there's one issue that unites almost everybody on that side, though, it's immigration. And the principle they've united behind is that anybody from anywhere on the globe should be allowed to come into the United States, no questions asked. And if you don't believe that, pay attention. For example, look at the theater surrounding the recent migrant caravan.
All of this for a group of people, a lot of whom are mothers and children, who pose no imminent threat.
The President of the United States has decided that a couple of thousand scared, sick, people fleeing violence are a bigger threat to the United States than ISIS.
Guess what, Ben? It's in our laws that people are allowed to come to our borders and ask for asylum.
So this is a new thing. It seems like they've always had this view, but no. Many in the left used to be skeptical of mass immigration, partly for economic reasons, because it undermined the wages of workers. But there were others, many others, who had environmental concerns, too, about letting a lot more people into the country. Phil Cafaro is the author of How Many is Too Many? The Progressive Argument to Reducing Immigration into the United States, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Cafaro, thank you very much for coming on. Having you is the result of a long nationwide search to find someone with your views, because I remember so well as a kid that Democrats were really concerned, some were, liberals, about overpopulation and the effects on the natural environment, and I always kind of agreed with that. Tell me your concerns about mass immigration and its effect on the environment.
Well, Tucker, I'm not sure I'm the last liberal in the country who's concerned about immigration-driven population growth, but we are a minority among environmentalists. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So I see, like, the Sierra Club, which used to care about the Sierras. Huge fire breaks out in the Sierras last summer, started inadvertently by an illegal immigrant, or the degradation of marijuana farming in Northern California, which really does poison the soil, and they say literally nothing because their concern for open borders overrides their concern for the environment. What is that about?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. If you go back to the birth of the environmental movement 50, 60 years ago, there was so much concern and focus on population issues because people saw the connections between overuse of resources, between too much pollution, and the sheer numbers of people. And environmentalists used to talk about that. I think what happened between then and now is back then most of our population growth was coming from the number of children we were having, Native Americans. Whereas today, population growth in the U.S. is primarily driven by high levels of immigration. So people, for whatever reason, weren't as comfortable saying we needed to limit immigration as they were saying we need to limit how many kids we have. I think that's a mistake, though, because either way, you're driving population growth, and that has environmental consequences.
So quickly, and I wish we had more time for this because I think it's fascinating, and I would urge people to buy your book on this. What's the response you get from your fellow liberals when you say, wait a second, there are environmental effects of letting all these people in? What do they say to you?
Well, mostly what I get are people who, most people say, well, I didn't realize that. I hadn't thought about that. Because as you say, environmentalists have stopped talking about it. But the responses really run the gamut from, how long have you been a racist to, oh, thank you so much for talking about that. I've been thinking that myself, and I'm just not comfortable talking about it.
Exactly.
So it's an interesting thing to talk and write about because you do get such a wide range of responses.
Yeah, I mean, spend a week in a crowded, dirty country, and you'll find out you don't want to live in a place like that, I think. Phil Cafaro, thank you very much for your positions and for explaining them to us.
Thanks for having me, Tucker. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Kirsten Gillibrand is an accidental senator. She was appointed by an unpopular New York governor to bolster his, it turned out, doomed re-election hopes. At first, she seemed pretty moderate. She opposed amnesty for illegal immigrants. She had a decent NRA rating. But her ambitions have grown. Being senator, a bad senator, is not enough. So now she has moved full woke. She now sounds like a sociology professor from SUNY Oswego. Half her constituents are men, for example, and she recently posted a message just for them. There's no future for you, she said. On Twitter this week, Gillibrand wrote this, quote, our future is female, intersectional, empowered by our belief in one another, and we're just getting started, unquote. What the hell does that mean? Manhattan Institute fellow Heather McDonald might know the answer to that, so we've asked her to come on tonight to explain. Heather, thanks a lot for coming on. What does that mean?
Well, it means that academia is taking over more and more of the real world. I wish this was something that was just confined to Gillibrand, but it's not.
Yeah.
It means that feminism has ambitions to take over civilization, and when that happens, you can say goodbye to civilization. They're trying to disappear males. They're committed to a narrative that America is a rape culture, is oppressive, is sexist, is racist. That's the whole concept of intersectionality, which is a way of describing the growing number of victims and their complicated ways of being oppressed by white heterosexual males. Unfortunately, again, Gillibrand is not some outlier. You have Trump's own administration bragging about the fact that he's spending billions of taxpayer dollars to encourage more females to go into STEM, which means discouraging males. And if you look no further than the opposition to the very appropriate rewrite of the campus rape rules by Education Secretary Betsy DeVos that are merely trying to restore our concept of due process and fairness to these very absurd kangaroo court tribunals, the feminists are having nothing of it. So feminism is really at odds with the civilizational legacy that we have inherited that we have to preserve at all costs.
Can I ask you a really simple, quick question? Why would a group, any group, want to poison the relationship between men and women, which is the building block of everything that's good in the world?
Because they would rather hate. They are self-interested. They have no understanding of the future. They have no understanding of the values and virtues that make civilization possible. And they're simply seizing power and are in a manic rage to efface males. And this sounds hyperbolic, Tucker, but you look around at institution after institution that has been taken over by feminists and the absurd diatribes that are launched against males, and that's the only conclusion you can reach.
Well, you know, maybe 5 years ago, I was thought, you know, that Heather Mac Donald, nice, kind of a hothead. Now I think you're absolutely right, and I think you're really brave for saying it as clearly as you do, and I'm grateful that you did tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
Well, the war on Christmas isn't real, but it's also expanding faster than American commitments to the Middle East. The latest victim, candy canes. That's next.